What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We're going to be talking about Weapon X and a complete build guide for them, with or without Omega Red. I've already done a video talking about how fantastic they are in war if you don't have Omega Red. If you do have Omega Red, they're even better, obviously. But we're going to talk about T4's, ISOs, your red star priority, everything you need to know about building up this Weapon X roster so you can get the maximum out of them in Alliance War. And if you guys do find this video helpful or do enjoy it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Going to be having plenty of Marvel Strike Force content on here. Without further ado, let's start off with the ISOs. So right now, this is my optimal ISO layout that I have right now. Raider on both Sabretooth and Wolverine, Striker on Samurai and Lady Deathstrike. I'll be putting Striker on Omega Red at the same time. I've seen a lot of people talking about putting Skirmisher on some of these characters. I'm actually going to tell you, I think there's a good reason why Skirmisher falls behind some of these damage-dealing ISO you're going to be putting on characters. Like, I've seen people talk about putting Skirmisher on Sabretooth and Samurai, get them that bonus focus, you know, helping them apply those bleeds. I'm going to show you why in footage against the heroes for a higher team with Omega Red there, why you don't need to really worry about Skirmisher on those characters, and why Skirmisher on Omega Red's not really a big deal. He's going to have plenty of focus on his own, but with this layout, you're having a lot of damage boost across the board with all these characters here. Bonus crit damage and crit chance on Sabretooth and Wolverine. That's because of many abilities within them. They get, for example, Sabretooth, he does get bonus crit chance, and that is if Omega Red is an ally, but he will get also bonus crit chance through other means. And then his ultimate and his special both do a lot of rebounding chain attacks, boost up that crit damage, and you're gonna get some nice returns with that. And with Wolverine, his special, which will be his first turn move, does a lot of crits, a guaranteed 100% crit chance on each of the secondary targets with this. So that's very, very helpful. Don't think he gets any bonus crit chance here, but there's gonna be plenty of crit chance between Sabretooth and Wolverine with their abilities and everything. The guaranteed crit chance, that crit damage is gonna work out very well. So I have Raider on both of them. Lady Deathstrike and Silver Samurai all do piercing and damage. Pretty much most of the characters on this team do piercing. Deathstrike, Wolverine, Samurai are all piercing damage, but Silver Samurai will have counters on him, and I've seen people talk about how putting Skirmisher on him would help with this, applying vulnerable. But when he attacks with this, he does some pretty solid piercing damage with it, and he is able to apply bleed to the target afterwards. So that's why people do the Skirmisher on him for the bonus focus. But that ultimate for him does a ton of damage per stack of charge. You can deal upwards of 1200% piercing damage with this. That's why I love Striker on him. That 2.1 blue ISO Striker gives him another 20% damage boost. So that's what I love Striker on him. And Lady Deathstrike just does a ton of piercing damage. Plus, her bonus ISO attacks can apply defense down if the target has bleed. You will be applying plenty of bleed with all of your other characters. But like I said, let me show you why I'm not a fan of Skirmisher on those characters, and why I like Raider a little bit better. And this is a punch across on Heroes for Hire. This was Envoy footage, so it's gonna be a little sloppy. But the one thing I want to point out is that watch Shang-Chi over there. Shang-Chi is going to just get nuked by this team, and that is with, I believe, Skirmisher on a few of these characters. But you put Raider on him, you have that special from Skirmish or from Sabretooth go off. It will apply Disrupted to Luke Cage. Now you're free to just wail on Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi never gets a move off. So while the bleeds and the reduced resistance from the Lady Deathstrike passive is nice, you're gonna do so much damage to Shang-Chi that he's never gonna get off. You don't even have to worry about reducing any of that on him. Plus, you have the trauma and heal block that's on from Omega Red, and look at how quickly you're just wiping out these characters. Like, yeah, this is why I'm not a big fan of putting Skirmisher on them. The bleeds do help reduce resistance, but you're getting so much off with that heal block and trauma, which is going to land anyways because of Omega Red. If you do have problems landing that trauma and heal block at the start of the fight, by all means, put Skirmisher on Omega Red instead of Striker. But don't use that to get rid of some of the other characters here. I mean, look at this. It's just Colleen and poor Luke Cage left, and Luke can't do anything because he's got Disrupt and he hasn't moved at all. This team just keeps going off. So yeah, this is why I'm not a big fan of putting Skirmisher on them. You just do so much damage. You don't have to worry about landing all those debuffs with bleeds and the bonus and the reduction resistance. You just do so much damage, you wipe out Heroes for Hire in such a short time. So yeah, I'm not really worried about that. And if you do want to look at character stats, actually we'll come back to character stats when we talk about red star priority, because there is going to be some stuff to talk about there with who you want to prioritize your red stars on. So moving on to the T4s, there's one T4 in particular that is very useful if you have a Mega Red on the team, and that is going to be the passive on Silver Samurai. With this, reduces the assist chance of enemies by 25% and war by 100%, but you must have 4 or more Weapon X allies. See that right there? That means Omega Red must be on your team in order for that to work. Unfortunately, that does not counter Heroes for Hire. If you do take a look at the footage of Heroes for Hire, that is the playlist. We need to get that out of here. There's one thing to note in that as soon as you see Luke Cage use his ultimate here, Colleen does assist. So that passive will not counter Heroes for Hire. That is just for Infinity Watch. So if you're going to be using this team against Infinity Watch in Alliance War, which I don't think many people will be, that will help, at least for countering here Infinity Watch. But this doesn't really do anything against Heroes for Hire. So do keep that in mind. This is very good for countering Infinity Watch, not so good for countering Heroes for Hire, and you must have Omega Red on the team for it to work. In terms of other T4s on this team, there's quite a few. This one right here, the passive on Omega Red, is very, very important. This gives 30% bonus max health for Omega Red, and then lowers enemy damage by 15%, and Weapon X allies gain 30% bonus max health as well. Very, very important. That damage reduction is going to be huge against his especially against Heroes for Hire. You know, a strong Colleen and strong Shang-Chi can do a lot of damage to you. So there's 15% reduction there, plus adding in the offense down that you're going to get from Sabretooth on some of his abilities. Very helpful to have that passive. The passive on Lady Deathstrike, also incredibly important here. You can't see because I'm in the way. Lower resistance by 50% for all enemies with bleed. You will be applying plenty of bleeds as it is. So this one is going to be very helpful, reducing the enemy resistance. In terms of other passives, healing factor, you don't really need this one. This one does work if your Wolverine's falling low on health. Gives himself defense up into death proof. Nothing crazy there. The passive T4 on Sabretooth is a complete skip. That is trash. You don't want this. This does absolutely nothing for you with Weapon X. All of your abilities are attacked, so there's no point in getting that passive T4. And then for Silver Samurai, we already covered it. Great for fighting Infinity Watch. Otherwise, you can probably skip this one. Actually, you know, this could work on a huge punch up against Mercs too, but you're not going to be using this team to fight Mercs. Let's see what else. Moving down the line, let's talk about the other T4s on Omega Red. This ultimate is very good because it flips all positive effects. He's going to have very high focus. If you didn't catch it already in his passive, he gains 200% bonus focus. He has one of the highest focus stats in the game. Because of this, he's going to be applying plenty of debuffs, which means these flips are going to work great. So this is very, very helpful. This will help with fighting Heroes for Hire as well. All those defense up, deflex, death proof, everything, he can flip this very, very easily because of that huge boost in focus. The Coil Crush ability on him, this one is just a damage boost, so nothing too crazy to write home about. Still additional 5% health on his basic. This is a secondary one for sure, supplementary. You don't really need to worry about this. With Lady Deathstrike, the second most important T4 on her is going to be her basic, because if the primary target has bleed, apply defense down. That is very, very important for her. You will be having plenty of bleeds flying around, and with Striker on her, this bonus ISO attack can apply defense down as well. Her special and her ultimate, her special can apply 2 bleeds instead of 1, and her ultimate does allow her to rebound chain one more time and apply 2 bleed to each target. So there's plenty of stuff there. But those, again, are very supplementary. You don't need them. They don't really add additional mechanics to you. Just give you more bleeds, more damage. So those are supplementary ones you can definitely have at a later date. This special on Wolverine, I got it because it goes from rebound chaining from 3 to 4 to rebound chaining to 5. Very, very important. Plus 150% piercing to the primary target and 30% bonus piercing to secondary targets. That's a big T4. Really like it. The ultimate here, 90% bonus piercing damage to the primary target and applies 2 bleed. that works. That goes up to 800% piercing, and if Omega Red is on the team, he will gain offense up for 2 turns and clears death proof from the primary target. This is pretty much a guaranteed kill. I like this one. Again, supplementary. I'll probably come back to this one later. Healing factor we already went over. You don't really need it. Adamantium claws, 10% more piercing damage, applies 2 bleeds. I think you can skip that one. And then over to Sabretooth. The ultimate and special, the ones I highly recommend. It rebounds chains from 3 to 5 to 5 to 6. It's a huge increase in the targets that are going to get hit with damage there. You already get the apply bleed for 2 turns on the level 6 upgrade, but that bonus rebound is huge. Thrash is also very, very important. Bonus piercing if Omega Red is an ally, and a lot more damage overall. So this one is pretty big. I really like this. This ultimate is going to hit, or sorry, the special is going to hit like a truck, especially if Omega Red is on the team. Feral healing we already talked about. You can skip it. And then the Silver Samurai, he's going to be a character I'm going to throw all T4s on eventually. Wave the Blade is going to be your last priority for this. First one I did was Bushido Barrage, because this does the bonus attack for each charge up to a maximum of 5 bonus attacks. This can be a one-shot kill with this T4. Very, very important to have this. The special does some pretty nice boost. Goes from 3 counter and 3 deflect up to 3 counter, or goes from 1 counter and deflect each up to 3 each, and defense up for 2 turns to himself and all Weapon X allies, as a very, very important T4 upgrade. And then eventually I will be doing this special, or the basic as well, because it applies 2 bleeds and it does more piercing damage. With all the assists and with all the counters he's going to be having, this is gonna be very helpful. He has like a 50% chance to assist per Weapon X turn. This will be very helpful with this. More bleeds, more damage. Really like this. He's definitely one I'll probably be putting all T4s on eventually. But ultimate, special, and then basic, in my opinion, is the best T4 priority for him. And then let's talk Red Stars. So it's kind of in a weird place, because Wolverine and Sabretooth are both already like long release characters, so they don't have bonus Red Star drops now. You will be able to get promotions for them eventually. You can see I've got 6 red on Samurai, 5 red on the other 3. I'm hoping to get 4 or 5 red on Omega Red at the same time. One thing to note in this is that if you go and look at their stat table, one thing I thought was really, really cool is that Lady Deathstrike, Wolverine, and Sabretooth have almost completely similar stats. And by this, I mean that their damage, their health, their focus, their armor, they're all pretty close to each other. So we're looking here at damage. They're all right next to each other. Sabretooth has a little bit less damage. Lady Deathstrike has the same health, damage, armor, and about the same resistance as Wolverine. Sabretooth is pretty close in them. Little more, significantly more health than on the 100,000. A little bit less damage, but similar in the other stats. And Wolverine is about the same. I mean, Lady Deathstrike, the one thing that stands out about her is her boosted focus here. You can see that boost in focus is pretty big. I like it. So yeah, that boost in focus is why I've prioritized higher red stars on her. This will give you a better chance of applying bleeds over the other characters. And I think if you take a look at this, you're going to see, number one, Omega Red is up here at health. But that's because it does calculate his passive in, where he gives Weapon X allies boosted health. That is calculated into it. Silver Samurai is down here at 600,000. So Silver Samurai, at the same gear tier, red stars and everything, will have more health than Omega Red. If you look at armor, Omega Red is actually right here in terms of armor. Silver Samurai is way up here. Now, Omega Red's also going to get a 40% boost in armor. It's going to take him up to the level of Silver Samurai. So both characters are going to be incredibly tanky. They're going to have high resistance as well. Remember, Silver Samurai gives 40% bonus armor and resistance to all Weapon X allies. Omega Red gives bonus damage and health to all Weapon X allies. So between them, a lot more damage, a lot more health. Overall, I think Silver Samurai is going to be a better red priority target than Omega Red. Or sorry, Silver Samurai is going to be a better red star priority then Omega Red, with Lady Deathstrike being the highest red star priority of all of them because of her higher boost in focus, the fact that she is able to move pretty fast and get going on things. And I think that just means that for her, because everything's piercing, she has this ability to rebound back and forth, applying defense down, applying bleed constantly. Higher red stars on her, I think, are just going to be better for you in the long run because of this. This one's a little more complicated because of how close the stats are in these 3 central characters. That kind of messes with it a little bit. But Lady Deathstrike, I think you just need her to stay alive. So giving her higher health, which means higher red stars than Wolverine or Sabretooth, is going to be more important. You can afford to lose Wolverine a little more than you can afford to lose Lady Deathstrike. The speed bar reduction with her, the bleedings, the defense down, the immunity, and clearing negative effects from your team, you want her to survive, which means you want her to be higher health than Wolverine, which means higher red stars on her than Wolverine. You want Wolverine being your weakest character is going to be fine. He does have a base revive chance anyways, and once he starts falling low on health, he can block too. That's why I've got Wolverine as my last priority for red stars, I guess. I need to make sure Lady Deathstrike is more powerful than Wolverine, means that she has more health, because I don't want Colleen targeting Lady Deathstrike. I want Colleen targeting Wolverine. So that's why I'm going for higher red stars on Lady Deathstrike, then higher red stars on Silver Samurai because of his ultimate and the fact that it can just absolutely destroy things. That high red stars on him means a lot higher resistance, a lot higher armor, more damage on him, which means that ultimate can one-shot, and when someone gets one-shot with that ultimate, they cannot be revived. So you can kill someone with Heroes for Hire with that ultimate, they will not come back. That is very, very helpful. And then Omega Red. I mean, like I showed you already, Omega Red has incredible stats, high health, high armor, high everything. You don't really need to worry about red stars on him. The main thing for him is high focus, and he gets 200% bonus with his passive. So I think that's going to pretty much cover everything for this. ISOs, red stars, your priorities for them. If you want to talk about gearing priorities, like I said, it pretty much follows the same with your red stars. Lady Deathstrike and Silver Samurai should be your highest red stars because they're going to get focused quite a bit, especially against Heroes for Hire. Samurai's going to get focused by Misty. Lady Deathstrike, you don't want her getting focused by Colleen. And Omega Red, you can keep him at like tier 13, tier 14, and his focus is just going to apply debuffs everywhere. Wolverine should be your weakest character on the Weapon X team. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Let me know down below if you guys have any questions about this. There's quite a bit to talk about with this team. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have enjoyed this video, again, make sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys next time.